Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is Coach Paul. God has qualified me, and I'm bringing to y'all another one of these Move Monday episodes. Listen, as usual, before we get off into the content of today, I have to make sure that I get across what I'm saying in essence, right, or in its fullness. What I'm saying is, if you don't move it, whatever that is, people, places, things, thoughts, ideas, if you don't move it, it's going to move you. That is 100% a fact, my people. So please, that's what these episodes are about. What are the buts that we can move out of the way, kick out of the way, or whatever we need to do to get them out of our way so that we can walk in the extraordinary potential and greatness that's within each and every one of us. That's what this thing is about. All right, so let me get off into the content of the day. Um, I want to revert back to a conversation that I had with one of my childhood friends, in which she talked about um, her statement was, "These kids are lost," and I agreed with her. Right, they are. However, they didn't get there on their own, and it's our duty to go get them. And so, over this past week, I've had some experiences with working with the youth, students, kids, or whatever you want to call them. And, I found myself, first of all, one of the things that God says to me on a daily basis as I get prepared to go and work with, because some of the children that I work with has some behavioral and emotional challenges. And so before I leave out on the daily basis, or even by the time I get to the place where I work with the youth at, God always has to remind me, don't make this about you. You pouring into the future. And so that keeps me going. Also, I remember having some of those challenges when I was a youth. Now, some of the stuff these kids doing today, wow. And many times I find myself saying, boy, these kids. But you can't give up on them. You cannot give up on them. That's the thing. You can't give up on them, because one of the things give me a second. One of the scriptures in my favorite book, it says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. And we really need to do some moving in terms of the way that we are training and allowing the children to be trained up today. Because if this keeps going, the way the children are being trained up today, like Eric Thomas had said I heard a clip from him a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. And he says, if you all, if the way you are right now, and you all are our future 20 or 30 years from now, we're going to be in trouble. And that's true. However, when we start to move what we need to move as adults right now, I ain't say if, I said, when we start to move what we need to start to move as adults right now, we can change that. We can turn that thing around. And I want to talk about some of the things that I see. And one of the things that I see that's troubling for me I'm 58 years old and I don't cuss. But when I did cuss as a child and even as an adult, one of the things that we knew because of the way that we were raised is that you do not use cuss words, foul language, or disrespect in front of your elders. We grew up with the honor and respect system. That's not the case today. I told you all I work with young students. And I'm talking about 12 and 13-year-old kids. In some cases, I work with middle schoolers and high schoolers. And, as I'm in the classroom with some of these middle schoolers, their mouths are so filthy. It's unreal. It's unreal. And I find myself, and even the teacher finds herself in many cases saying, stop cussing, please stop. And they continuously do it. They'll stop and then they'll start back. And I asked one of the children, I said, do you do this in front of your mother? And he's about 12. And he said, yep, I just don't cuss at her. And that's the problem. That's the thing one of the things that I want to talk about is because what's happening is that we're enabling some of these children to behave in the way that they're behaving. There's no honor and respect. When I do, I facilitate some groups to help the children to learn how to get some emotional regulation, some social regulation, being able to, operate healthily from an emotional and a social standpoint. Some of these groups that we facilitate speaks to that, right? And it's a shame that one of the ground rules, when I lay the ground rules for the group, I have to say no cussing, no N-words. Because those are one of the classrooms that I work with the youth in, the entire day when they are not inside of my group or my colleagues' group, their conversation is surrounded around the N-word and cussing. 100%. That's all you hear the entire day. And the teacher allows this because she says that she wants to allow the children to express themselves. That's fine that you allow them to express themselves, but we have to draw the line somewhere because that N-word is offensive to some people. Me being one, a couple of other teachers or staff that work at these schools, it's the same with them. That N-word is offensive. And the teacher, again, this is enabling. We are enabling these children to be the way that they are because we're not. One of the things that we're doing too much with these children, not me personally, but one of the things that I'm experiencing and seeing that's going on with these children is that we are treating these children like they're our equals, and they're not. They're the child. We are the adult. There's supposed to be a line and a boundary drawn, separating and understanding that this is the position. You are the child. I am the adult. There are certain things that you're not going to say. There are certain things that you are not going to do in my presence. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. We have to move out this new way of raising kids and thinking and believing and acting and behaving. We have to move this thing out of the way. We have to kick this thing out because it is not working for these children as a whole. These children most of these children, not most of them, lots of them don't know anything about filling out a job application. They don't know anything about a resume. They come to school with their pants hanging down off their butt. They come to school in pajamas. Here's another thing. Let me make sure that I talk about the pajamas. Parents, we got to move some stuff. Watch this. Kids come to school regularly in pajamas. Let me think about that for a minute. Watch this. If you're coming to school in pajamas, chances are you slept in those pajamas. And if you slept in those pajamas and you came to school in the same pajamas that you slept in, chances are you didn't wash up before you came to school. And watch this. Watch this. The parents are the ones who are dropping. I live in California. Most of the schools here, the parents drop their children off to school dressed like that. It's one kid. No, it's two kids that I work with. These, you might as well not even have on no pants. You literally, you might as well not even have any pants on. They showing that much of their underwear. That much of their underwear. They might as well not even have on any pants. And again, their parents are dropping them off to school dressed and looking like that. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he won't depart from it. It bothers me. It bothers me because, again, I remember when I was younger, there's a song called "The Greatest Love of All." I think George Benson was the writer and the singer of the song, and he talked about I don't, listen, God didn't give me the gift to sing, but I do know the lyrics. It says, "I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be." None of that is going on. None of that is going on. And these, again, the first words, I believe the children are the future. We have to move some stuff and change, because if we don't, listen, here's another thing. Watch this. This is why we got to move some stuff, because the popular thing going on right now, everybody is bro. Everybody, men, women, everybody, teachers, everybody. I had to tell the student once, hold on, young man. My name is Mr. Paul. It's not bro. I'm not your bro. And the male students calling the teachers bro. I watched a black student call his teacher the N-word. And it was like a conversation, and she said absolutely nothing. It's like, wait a minute, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, I appreciate the fact that nowadays we are allowing the children to have a voice, because I promise you, I might not have made a lot of decisions that I've made, the unhealthy decisions that I made when I was younger, if I'd have had a voice. I get that. I understand that. I embrace that. I support that. But we letting these kids do too much. We're letting them talk too much. We're letting them do too much. Here's another case in point. These are high school children. Now, I want you to understand and know that statistically, minority kids are the most likely to be kidnapped and sex trafficked and not be found. 40, I think it was, I saw a statistic the other day. I think it's 47% of youth who are being kidnapped and snatched are minorities. And another overwhelming majority of the ones who are not being found are the minorities, are the minority kids. And watch this. Now that we understand and know that, I work with the youth who have had some issues, right? We're trying to help them get past those issues and walk in their greatness. So I'm driving to one of the locations last week. Give me a second. I'm driving to one of the locations last week. Here's this 15 or 16-year-old girl. She has on this two-piece jumpsuit, top as a jacket, pants, almost like a jogger. On the back of the jacket and the pants, and you must guess, you don't have to guess, on the butt of the pants, red, watch this. This is 15 to 16 years old. Tasty. What are we doing, parents? What are we doing that you would even allow that to be an outfit that your teenage daughter is wearing? Now, in no way, shape, form, or fashion does that give anybody the right to put their hands on none of these kids. And listen, I'm a non-violent person, but if I catch you touching a child, we're gonna have a big old problem. We're gonna put to the side the non-violent Paul. Let me catch somebody doing something to harm one of these kids. However, we're not supposed to be positioning ourselves for stuff like that to happen to us. And that type of wear, and no woman should be wearing something like that, especially a kid. What are we doing, parents? Like I said, these are not children who the household doesn't have parents in it. These are not children where the household have, somebody's on alcohol or drugs, or someone. These are households where the parents drive and drop off the kids to school. The parents communicate with the teachers on a regular basis, because how do I know? Because there's a lot of times when the teachers have to call the parents and tell them that your child is in here acting up. And the parent will talk to the child on the phone, the child will get off the phone and go right back to doing what they was doing. So what are we doing at home? They cussing. Everybody's a bro. The N-word is all over the place. What are we doing at home? There used to be watch this, when I was younger and I was in school, our parents partnered with the teachers. We were the outsider. The student was the outsider. Excuse me. The parents 100% partnered with the teachers. 100%. They had 100% communication. Back then we didn't even have cell phones. But you best believe the parents communicated with the teachers and the teachers with the parents. Everybody knew what was going on with the student. Everybody, whether the student was doing what they were supposed to be doing or whether the student wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Everybody knew what was going on. Let me say this to you all. My wife is a school teacher. And with the technology that's going on right now, the parents have 120, like as every time it says it, 120% access to their children's progress, their grades, their attendance. It has they have 120% access. But here's the but. We have parents that ignores all of the invites to communicate, because it's mandatory that the teachers send invites to the parents for meetings, especially if the child is having some issues. There has to be a meeting. Let's have a meeting so that we can turn this thing around early on in the school year. All of those things are ignored till at the end of the year when we're looking at the student about to walk away with almost all else. Now the parent wants to get in contact with the teacher and talk crazy to the teacher because the student told the parent that it was a whole lot of stuff that the teacher didn't do. And my wife had to go back and show all of the times when she tried, and the parent believed the student was trying to talk, a little ill towards my wife and the counselors. But my wife went back and showed all of the attempted communications from the beginning of the school year. Now the parent looking crazy. However, if you would have been doing what you were supposed to be doing up front, we wouldn't have this issue. Parents, we got to move something. We have to stop allowing these kids to do what they are doing in these schools, in public. Again, My mother always said, if you are not going to go out of here and act like or look like anybody's child. We had respect. We had respect. And again, I was a wild child. I started smoking marijuana at the age of 10. I was a wild child. But you best believe when an adult was when there was an adult in my presence, whether I knew them or not, all of that mess was shut down. All of it. The other thing that I hate that I'm watching go on so much is that especially the male youth of today, they have a big issue with listening to an African American male that's their elder. They have a big issue with that. We live in a society where we have taught our youth that the African American or black male don't mean anything. His word is nothing. And here it is. You have me, people like me, myself, and many other. I know many other African American men. What we live to go and add value to the youth. It doesn't matter what color they are. And the crazy part about it is most of the people who are paying attention to the information that I'm giving, they're not my color. The ones that look at me like I'm stupid when I tell them that you got greatness in you, they black. What we doing, parents? We have to teach these children. We have to teach our children how to respect and respect authority. Respect your elders. Honor your elders. Know that your elders are not here for your detriment, but they're here to help better the quality of your life. That's what we got to teach these children. And my question is, do we need to have some meetings where we get with parents and kind of have to regroup and reset and talk about how we supposed to parent these kids? Because listen, all of my children are grown. None of them is my equal. And many times, listen, watch this. In my life, as a father, I'm the first to say, for many years, I have dropped the ball. Many years, I have dropped the ball as a father. However, you best believe that my children was taught. If they wasn't taught anything else, they were taught respect. My children respect me to this very day. They respect their elders to this very day. None of my children are disrespectful towards me. None of my grandchildren address me as bro or cuss in front. None of that. We still have the honor system going on, and we have to get that back inside of these households with these kids, because again, the children that are being raised today is our future. They're our future, and if we don't get this thing right, we can't complain about the way the future gonna look. Especially with the fact that they have a high school to prison pipeline that they have going on that's geared toward who? The minorities. And because the parents are allowing the kids to do whatever they want to do, say whatever they want to say, be whatever they want to be, the people who are in charge of these prisons are making room for them. They are making room for them. They are preparing to get these kids in there and get their $300,000 a year off of these children. And parents, if we don't change this thing, we cannot complain. We cannot complain about what these children's futures are going to look like. We just can't if we don't change nothing. We have to move some stuff. We have to kick some stuff out and get back to that old way of parenting. And I'm not saying be abusive to your kids at all, in no way, shape, form, or fashion. But these kids got to know, this is what we were told: stay in the child's place. These kids have to know that. Parents, they are not your homies. Parents, they are not your equals. They are not your buddies. They are not your bros. They're not your N-words. You have to stop. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop enabling these kids. We gotta, some of the watch, here's another thing. School starts at 8:30 and gets out at 1:30 every day except Wednesday. On Wednesday, it gets out at 12. We have children, school starts at 8:30. Out of all of the children that comes to school, you may have 2 or 3 that's there before 8:30. 9, 10 o'clock, you have parents driving up with their children at 9 or 10 o'clock. For what? What are you doing, parents? School starts at 8:30. Why are you driving up with your child at 9 or 10 o'clock? And here's the terrible part about it. So they came late. Their parents drove them there late. So like I said, these children are not in broken homes where they don't have someone in their home to be able to make sure that they get back and forth to school and have a decent meal. No, because the kids, they don't come to school stinking. They don't come to school. They won't even eat the lunches and breakfast. So we know they're eating somewhere. Now, watch this. They come to school late. They'll do a couple of assignments. Now, if you got there at 10 o'clock and school is out at 12, you can't sit there for 2 hours. They'll work to 11 o'clock and then have the teacher, can I call my mother? They'll call home. And their parents will come right back and get them. What are we doing? What are we doing? When we went to school, we was at school. We were at school. From beginning, there before school started, and we stayed at school to the bell, 2:30. We got out at 2:30 until the 2:30 bell rang for us to go home. Now today, one young lady, again, I'm talking to the parents. I don't want y'all to think that I'm complaining or talking about anybody. I'm saying this is what I'm experiencing and seeing, and it's all wrong. It's bad. It is not going to help our future. Young lady came to school and told the teacher that watch this, in the middle of the school year, all of a sudden that their family's going on a 3.5 week vacation. Now, the teacher didn't believe it. Nevertheless, she said, okay, well, make sure I'm going to give you the schoolwork to do for that time. So make sure you come to school the day before, you go, and I'll give you all the work that need to be done while you're gone so you can stay caught up. Well, the student didn't show up, didn't come get none of the work. And as the teacher was calling, trying to reach her and her parents, no answered phone calls, no return phone calls at all. And then the student pop up 3 weeks later, get some homework, and go and disappears again. What are we doing? Now, again, she has a parent that drives her to school. You don't think enough to say, hey, I may need to have a conversation with this teacher because something ain't right about this. I don't know what this child is telling her parent, but I do know for sure that this child is lying to the parent, and the parent is not doing anything. They're doing any investigation because, listen, all of us went to school, so you got to understand and know that something ain't right. If somebody told your student, your child, that they don't have to come to school for 3.5 weeks and it's not summer, I need to have a conversation with your teacher. And you don't have homework? Yeah, let me call your teacher and find out what's going on. That's what our parents used to do. That's not happening today. So I can continue. It's that bad. I can continue. It is that bad. The teachers, all of the teachers are the villains. All of them. Everybody that work at the school except the people who buddy them. are villains. Except the people who they allow to call them bro or the N-word. They're the only ones that's not the villains. Everybody that's trying to help better the quality of their lives, give them the best education possible, they're the villains. And again, what are we doing, parents? Are we training our child up in the way that they should go so that when they grow older, we'll have a better future? Because again, like every time it's said, the way that it's going right now, if these are the ones that's supposed to be our future, we in trouble. We're in trouble, y'all. And we got to do something to turn this thing around. And we got to do it right now. We have to do it right now because some of these kids are growing up, and I can't say enough about how terrible it is and how we are playing into the hands of the powers that be, that all they want to do is get rich off the heads, the bodies, the minds, the lives of these children. Yeah. And again, I know these kids got greatness in them. I know they do. I work with them daily. Some of these kids are geniuses, and they're doing absolutely the opposite. So anyway, again, I can say more, but y'all got the picture. Parents, we need to move. Parents, we need to kick our butt out, or we need our butt kicked if we don't do something about this, and do something about this right now. With that being said, guess what, y'all? I love every last one of y'all. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Be well. Do the next right thing, especially concerning these kids. God bless you all. And if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. That, my friend, is a promise. Until next time, deuces.